Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me. You are most welcome, as always. Well, this is something a bit different. Today I'm going to be doing a few actually, just sort of little bite-sized videos, really because it's the weekend of the Telford Scale Model World in the UK, and of course it's the biggest model show pretty much in the world. Quite a lot of people, myself included, decided not to go this year. Lots of reasons. Yeah, I think that we've got one or two issues in the UK that are making it more complicated than it even was before, but we won't get into those. Anyway, for those of us that can't go or decided not to go, I thought it'd be nice to have a little friendly few short vids, nothing too heavy or too involved, and I thought I'd just show you some of my great work from the past. Sorry, because it's not that great. That's not that great. This is the reason I probably haven't ever shown it before. But it's interesting because I was looking in the cabinet today and I thought, oh, you know, there's some favourites here. I'll zoom them in so you can see them in more detail shortly. But don't think you've ever seen them in any detail anyway before, because I've never really done a video on these that we have before us. So anyway, I thought I'd just talk about my experiences with these particular kits, and they're all pretty much the ones I'm going to talk about. They're all pretty much ones I would highly recommend to you, especially if you are looking for a kind of a mojo build where you're trying to get back into it. I think I'm like a lot of people. I really struggle in the summertime. I lose all interest in modelling. Well, that's not true. I don't lose interest in modelling, but I lose interest in doing the work. I don't really enjoy. I can't motivate myself. I don't know what it is. And then as soon as we get the cold, dark, long winter nights, it's like a light bulb comes on and I instantly want to get on with it, And I've had quite a very few models I've actually done this year. I did the Matchbox Chaffee, which was featured on a very famous, well-known modelling forum and website. Also on that forum and website, it was Flooring Models. It's no secret, Flooring Models. I highly recommend to you. But I also did the AFE Club Scorpion tank, which was not the best kit ever, but quite a nice kit, and it came out pretty well in the end. To be honest, quite liked it. Looks great in the cabinet. Anyway, I thought I'd get back to go into the back catalogue and have a real look at some of the old stuff. Now, everything I'm going to show you in this video is at least 10 to 12 years old. I'm trying to remember. I think they were all late 2010, early 2011. So that's well over 10 years. And the other things I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do probably 3 vids, I think. I'll probably do one each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as if we're at Telford, It's not quite the same, I know. I don't think I can compete with the standard and variety and just the sheer numbers of those kits. Wonderful models that you see at Telford. We all see one or two where we have a little snigger to ourselves, where you think, I could have done better than that. You're about to have that experience all over again, because you can look at mine and think, and it was interesting actually when I looked at the German ones. When I looked at I am quite proud of my Tamiya. It's the 2018 release, the Messerschmitt MEBF 109 G6. And when I look at my painting techniques on that, and on the Meng Messerschmitt 163 Comet as well, it just shows you actually how you come along with experience of modelling over time, And I can see my own progression. It's huge jumps, really. It's 10 years between them, and yeah, that really explains it. You can see the difference, and I'm sure it's the same for everybody. So I've got one or two in the cabinet that I've got to be honest, I'm thinking, I bet you have this process too. You sort of think, it looks a bit, I'm short of cabinet space, so it's at a premium. And I'm thinking, this is not really good enough. Would I put this on YouTube? No. These are not too bad. But there's one or two that you think, I could just put... But I haven't got the heart to get rid of them. It was interesting, somebody recently talked about the Vulcan. I had the Vulcan, I sold it on. But somebody saw the advert and said, hey, this is much better than your original Vulcan kit. He didn't mean my particular effort. But he said, if I were you, I'd get rid of the old one, because I said I was going to keep the old one, which is fully understandable. But I did quite a nice job of that, and I was actually quite proud of it, and I've got some emotional attachments to it as well. So in the end I decided to let the new one go, because it's quite big and with the room, really. So after the review I moved it on, but I could see where he was coming from, this chap that commented on in Flores forum, and I understood exactly what he was saying. And in some cases, and I'm thinking, I've got a 48 scale FX Jaguar GR1, which is not a nice kit. It's the Hella kit, Hella Revel, you know. Well, it's not a nice kit. It's not a nice kit, and I didn't do a good job of it. I made a mess of it, really. Well, I didn't make a mess of it. I just didn't make the effort, you know. I didn't finish it properly. I didn't get rid of the seam lines and things. Bit of a poor job from everybody. Airfix were poor, I was poor, and so on. Anyway, let's have a look at. I've got 3 here that are really good kits, I have to say, and I would strongly have no reservation in recommending any of these 3 to anybody, even if you're a relative newcomer. They go together really nicely. So what we've got, obviously we've got the, zoom in a bit so you can see these properly. We've got, it's nice to see things that I've not shown before, really. So we've got in the background here, we've got the Luftwaffe from 1944. We've got on the left there, we've got the Focke-Wulf 190, and it's the A8, complete with ground crew and bomb rack, loading rack, which is like a jack. And you can see probably, as you can see very well in this angle, but I'm not going to move the camera because that'll disturb everything. But what we have got there, we've got the crew, ground crew are loading up a bomb onto the cradle underneath. It's not my finest paint job. This is what I was just commenting on, really. When I look at that, I was very pleased with this. Really pleased with it. But now, when I look back, it's all relative, of course. And you think, And I looked at the really nice paint job I did on the ME109 G6. And that makes that look a bit rubbish, really. but it's not so bad. It's not really rubbish. It's just not as good. It's just not as good. I've just progressed, and I think people are the same. You know, I think people get to the point where they perhaps revisit an old kit. Oh, I might revisit that in the future. I don't know, but the problem I have, and I'm sure lots of people face the same dilemma. It's not that bad. It's not bad. It looks nice. It's a nice 190. Let's have a closer look at it. Just don't laugh at the paint job too much, you know. Let's zoom you in properly so you can get a close look at this. It did spin round, right? No, maybe not. Perhaps the dust has got in there and seized it up a bit. But it's quite a nice one, actually. It's alright. So, we've got little rockets underneath. So this is one that's obviously can be used for air defence or ground attack, I would suggest. But it's mainly aimed at ground attack, hence the bomb, of course, that would be in the middle once they load it onto the cradle. But it's a nice old kit, this. It doesn't have any proper seat belts. It comes with these decal type ones, as you can see. So they're not great in that respect, I suppose. But yeah, my weathering's a bit rudimentary. This is, 10, 11 years ago. Not the best. But I was getting there, and I think this is my first attempt at doing the sort of Luftwaffe mottle type camo, and it wasn't bad, for a first attempt. I was fairly happy with it, if I'm honest. Reasonably satisfied, not too bad. And yeah, overall, I think it came out looking like a pretty nice 190, And it looks good in the cabinet, especially the ground crew. This is what I was saying about, it's a nice kit, and I would certainly recommend that. I do like, one of the things I love about the Tamiya kits, well, the quality first of all, of course, above everything else. But the other thing is that they often, even with their armour kits as well, they often include some figures, and I think this is where the others are going wrong. I have been a very vocal critic of the industry for two things. One, the instructions, not Tamiya, but one or two of the new manufacturers from China especially have got some very poor instructions. I won't go into that again. I think you've already heard my rants about this. And the other thing is that nobody bothers putting figures in. I mean, there was the Hong Kong model produced this 48 scale Lancaster bomber, which is a beautiful kit. Yeah, I know it hasn't got the stressed skin and all the rest of it, but it's a beautiful looking Lancaster. That'd make a great model on your desk. Trouble is, it fill mine. But it doesn't have any figures in it, and it's not uncommon. They're all like this, and if they do give you a figure, like Border did with the 109 G6, the 35th scale one, the recent one, they make a big hullabaloo about it, like it's a major gift to you. In that case, it kind of was. I'm not going to complain about that because that was quite a nice kit. But far too few manufacturers are putting figures in. You know, we had the Mosquito from Tamiya recently in 72nd scale, which is a lovely kit. But there was only one crew member in it, which is, I've heard the explanation, but I'm sorry, something's not right. You need, even if they thought it through, they were having some tolerance problems. If they'd thought it through, they could have put the crew guy, had him lying down like he was in the bomb aiming position, because it's the bomber version with the clear glass nose. I think they could have thought the way around this, but they didn't. Anyway, I won't pick on Airfix. But it's just a general dearth of it, you know, and this is why it's nice to have, you know, it just animates the scene. With the 109 G6, I've got all these in a kind of a diorama together, most of them anyway, the gym ones are, in my cabinet. But I bought the ICM, I bought two kits. I bought the ICM Luftwaffe, I think it's 1944, Luftwaffe Winter Ground Crew and Pilot set, which is really good, excellent, definitely get that. And I also bought the Tamiya, but it was actually made by ICM. Sorry, is that the winter one? I'm getting confused now. No, that was the winter one. The Tamiya one was the winter one, and it was just the general Luftwaffe Ground Crew set, which I think was 1944, that I bought from ICM as well, separately. And the Tamiya one comes with a Kettenkrad. This one, in fact, same as this one here. So I've got two of those. Those are both brilliant kits. They're really nice figures, you know. But it's nice that you can get these sets that do come with a couple of figures. So let's go and have a look at the second one. Oh, by the way, we have a Kubele Wagon. I think I bought this separately. Don't think that came in a set as such. Let's have a look at the little Kubele Wagon, because I don't think you've seen this before either. So this is a 48th scale one. People are more familiar with them in 35th scale, of course. So it's actually quite a nice little thing, isn't it? Actually, I've got to be careful not to break it. It's ever so delicate. I've already broken it once, just getting it out of the cabinet. I've had to re-glue some parts on the tarpaulin at the back. But it's a nice little kit, to be honest. And whoops, move my fingers out of the way so you can see it properly. Yeah, it's a nice one. And they do these nice, you know, figures, little vehicles that go with these aeroplanes really well. Helps you to create a more of an animated scene. So let's have a look on the same subject. Let's have a look at the Kettenkrad, which is coming with the ME262. So we'll just talk about that one. It's probably helpful as well if I include a link. I'll put a link down below the video for you of what these three kits are with the reference number. But obviously then we have this option of the Kettenkrad towing the ME262, and it's based on a famous photograph from World War II. I think was maybe in Austria, I'm not sure, but the actual pose and everything was taken straight from a photo where the guy's looking back, he's driving the Kettenkrad, and they used to conserve the jet fuel, which was very, very scarce at this point in late 44. They used to tow them around the airfield with these little tractor Kettenkrad. So obviously it's a half track meets motorbike, for those of you that are not familiar with them. Often used by the Wehrmacht as well. Great little vehicle. They go like a rocket if you've ever seen one go. It's, as I say, it's half motorbike and half track. So here's the one that comes in the kit, and we have the guy who's piloting it, looking around, making sure that the ME262 is all hooked up and following correctly. And it's a nice little kit. I mean, having made two of them, I really enjoyed both of them, to be honest. Good fun. Quite a simple, straightforward build, and you can go to town with the weathering. I was fairly subtle on mine, but you can do all sorts with the weathering, and you can make it really nice. So there we go. So that's the Kettenkrad, and that's towing the 262. So let's look at the 262. So I think it's a 262A, or is it B? Because it's got bombs underneath. Whoops! And he's dropped something. Okay, what I dropped was the actual FOD cover for. It's just here. Bear with me a moment. I think I better rescue this. It's the FOD cover for the jet engine intake, and I dropped that because I forgot it was on the wing, perched. Just wipe the old fingers up. Right, where were we? Sorry about that. The perils of live broadcasting, you know. Could have been worse, could have broke something. Ooh, touch wood, touch wood. So let's have a look at the kit. Now I actually did break this when I got it out of my cabinet. I broke the antenna area off, so that's been glued as well. So we've had a bit of a gluing session. Anyway, let's have a closer look. So, as I say, I think it's the B version because it's got this these bombs under the chin. So this is very much going back to the controversy around the whole designation and purpose of the ME262, because, as you probably know, Adolf Hitler wanted them to be, I'm struggling to find the right grip of this, here we go, I think I've got it. Adolf Hitler wanted them to be a jet bomber, like a vengeance bomber. Here we've got obviously the tow cradle assembly that goes on the back of the Kettenkrad. And we've got the gun bays open. Now I say, don't laugh at my quality of my construction too much. It's over 10 years ago this. But the pilot's nicely figured. He's in a great position looking out, again checking that we're being towed correctly. Your UMO engines there, BMW UMO engines. Was it BMW or UMO? Because they had a change of engines, didn't they, on these? I'm trying to remember the history now. They had a problem where I think they were BMW engines at the beginning. They went to UMO, didn't they? Which was, I think it was a Junkers engine, designed engine. I think BMW actually built it though. But anyway, digressing a bit. If you look very closely underneath, which I will try and lift it up so you can see that, we have got a couple of interesting things, apart from the bombs, obviously. We've also got a RATO, which was rocket assisted takeoff rockets. Can you see those? A little bit of black smoke coming out from behind them there. That's a nice touch on this kit as well. So yeah, it's a nice kit. And again, it went together no problems whatsoever, as you would expect with Tamiya. See, I've got the FOD cover on this side, and everything is as you would expect, really. A really nice model. Came out really well. You see it in the sort of plan view like this, and you can see how sort of fat the fuselage is. Really, I mean, it does look like a shark. You can see why they called it the flying shark. Can't you? They call it the swallow, the Germans, but it looked more like a shark, I think, from what the Americans described it as. And you can see the exits there, the exhaust of the UMO jet engine. Yeah, nice kit. Very nice kit from Tamiya, that. I'd recommend that one to you. So, I'll gently try and put that back. Hopefully not breaking anything this time. There we go. And we'll re-hook him up to his Kettenkrad. It's going to tow him around the airfield. There we go. All good. Put that on there and try not to forget it next time. So there we go. So that's two from Tamiya. Really go together well. Recommend them to you and make a nice diorama. As I say, I've got a few extras as well, and you start building up this entire sort of airfield scene, which is what I've got. Looks really good actually, and because the figures are so well done in terms of their moulding, really realistic, you know. So let's move on to the allies, the good guys. Yeah. And let's have a look at this. So we've got the Mosquito here. Now this is the 48 scale Mosquito, again from Tamiya. Very, very popular kit, this one. You won't find a better one anywhere in 48 scale. Nothing comes close to it really. Goes together like a dream. Can't recall any problems I had with it, except one. It's the old problem actually. It doesn't matter whose kit you've got. It's on the Mosquito. It has this areas where they have a do not walk on the radiator. I'll show you in a second. On top of the radiators, which is the metal's quite thin there. And they have a big do not walk sign, and of course it's like a big red square with cross across it, and you always get silvering on the decals. Still can't remember to say it correctly, unless you really put a nice gloss coat down. And of course, as I say, this was done over about 10 or 11 years ago. This one, I think this is the first of the three, and I didn't do this. And of course, we've got some nasty silvery. So when I show it, you try not to laugh too much, okay? But first, another very nice little vehicle from Tamiya, and it's the little Austin truck. which is the RAF used these, the Army used them, they're very, very widely used. But this is the RAF version, which you can get, 48 scale. And it's a real lovely little vehicle, this. Real Bobby Dazzler, look at that. Nice bit of weathering here and there on it, bit of mud, got a spade on the roof in case you get stuck in the snow. Got the RAF typical markings, makes me think of 633 Squadron when I see this. Just they had a few of them bobbing around. It's got a removable tarpaulin top, and it's just a plain pickup at the back. So it's really nice, you know, exhaust underneath. Oops, there we go. A really nice little kit that, and it's got the driver. Just looks the business. Again, perfect for a diorama, and I think this retails for about £11 or £12. It's really cheap, you know. So that's one I can recommend for you. Pop that back over the Mosquito. We've also got some very nice little figures of this Mosquito. I'm going to show them to you and try to zoom the camera in a bit more. So we've got the co-pilot here. I'm sure he's based on Alan Broadley, the guy that was sadly killed in the Amiens raid. He looks very like him to me. Does it look like Scott Tracy from Thunderbirds? That's probably down to the way I've painted him. But that's a nice figure. And then we've got the pilot and the wing commander here. Here's the pilot first of all. And he's got his instructions, his orders, possibly a map. And we've got the wing commander, who seems to be giving him a bit of a lecture going on, saying, make sure you drop your bombs there, there and there. Don't hit the school here, like you did in Copenhagen, which is a bit of a tragedy if you know the story. When they were bombing the shell house, that's another story for another day. But yeah, the figures are really nice. I mean, you've got this wing commander type, very stern looking chap. Looks a bit like Harry Andrews, perhaps not tall enough though. Again, makes you think of 633 Squadron, doesn't it? And yeah, this comes in the set. I'm trying to remember if it comes in the set with the Austin truck, or whether it came as a set with the Mosquito. I think it came with the Austin truck. I think it was Austin truck and RAF personnel set, if I remember correctly. Anyway, enough of that. Let's have a look at the Mosquito itself. It's just out of shot, because this is a nice kit. Really, really nice one. You want to build a Mosquito and you don't want a lot of aggravation, this is the one for you. So I'm just going to remove the crew ladder because it always falls off. Oops, stepped over all my figures. Something's going to happen. And let's have a proper look at this. So this is the same squadron that did in fact bomb the Amiens prison. Forgive me, it's the New Zealand and Royal Australian Air Force squadron. 490, I can't remember. I won't quote the number because I'll get it wrong. But anyway, let's have a look at the kit. Nice model. This is all airbrushed, and it's hand airbrushed, so you could argue that the pattern is correct, but the actual edging is wrong because I've done it very feathered, obviously, with an airbrush. It's not masked, in other words. It was all done freehand. I like it though. I just really like this kit, actually. I like the way it looks. It may technically not be correct though, so don't shoot me down in flames for cheating by not masking it, but I did kind of, I've got to be honest, I really enjoyed it, so sort of not making any apologies on this one really. And underneath you've got a bomb on each wing. What's that, £500 bomb is it? £300 bomb. I think it might be £300 bomb. We've got, stick you in, we've got the bomb bay here. Those are £500 bombs for sure. So it's the typical loadout for a Mark 6 Mosquito. You've got £500 bomb, 2 of, and then you've got your cannons here. Now obviously on the bomber version this is all bomb bay and there's no cannons here. But anyway, I've got some really bad, I've got a window there that I've actually overpainted. There's a gaff here, major gaff, idiot alert, oops, this is all wrong, that shouldn't have paint on it, it should just be a little window. But anyway, I told you that you wouldn't be impressed. But yeah, so we've got nice, quite a nice look to it. You know, we've got the crew door open there, into the cockpit. We've got quite a lot of detail in the cockpit. I don't know if you can see that. You've got all the radio gear. See the radio? Just behind the pilots and the co-pilot. And you've got your Browning 303s in the nose. This, for those of you that don't know, is the gun camera here, the silver patch around it. Yeah, and obviously you've got the ejection chutes for the spent shells underneath. I'm annoyed about that. I didn't even know that. I would have corrected that a long time ago. I'll have to go back and correct that. That's bad. Anyway, and we've got some fairly gentle weathering. I didn't go crazy on weather. I didn't use washers at the time I built this either. It's before I discovered, you know, the pin washers and the sort of flory washers and things like that. So it's slightly rudimentary in its weathering, but I'm quite happy with it. The only thing I wasn't happy with really was this silvering. I'll show you now, warts and all. There you go. You can see it underneath the decal, and that's really because I think if you try and cut this decal to try and get rid of the silvering, you struggle to get it on. The only way to stop it, really effective way and easiest way, is to put a really good gloss coat down. Even if you only do it in that area, to be honest. You could almost mask it and gloss it up, you know, knowing that the decal's got to go down there. But anyway, there we go. Overall, I've got to be honest, I'm pretty happy with that, given my limitations in terms of skill, lack of at the time. I was fairly happy with it, I've got to be honest. I went back and actually did some of the weathering later, the pin wash I'd put on it, which really did improve it quite a lot. Improved it really nicely, I thought. And it has pride of place in my cabinet amongst the RAF 148th aircraft. Anyway, that's it for today. Just a quick one. We are going to have another couple of these vids. I'm going to show you, again, warts and all, some of the older stuff. So it's not my best work at all. So please don't have a good chuckle and think that's the best I can do. If you see the 109 or the Spitfire 32nd, you'll understand I've got a bit better now, a bit more advanced. But I just wanted to show some of these kits that you probably haven't seen from me anyway in the past. And I would certainly recommend these three, well, 5 if you include the vehicles because they're bought separately. So you've got 5 kits there. Recommend every one of them, no hesitation at all. Really good. Really dream builds, no problems at all. Not flashy, no problems with getting it to go together. No big gaps or horrible seam marks and things, you know, it's just fine. Anyway, in the other videos we're going to look at, possibly we might have another couple of aircraft that you haven't seen before, quite big ones. But not great. This is right from the back catalogue. Also going to have a look at a couple of racing cars, well, sports car and racing car. They are both red, and one of them was based on a car that I used to own. So we'll have a look at those as well. So something for you to look forward to, hopefully. Hope you found it interesting. Any comments you got, or your own experiences with these kits, or others that you'd recommend? I mean, I was going to almost show you the 109 G6, you've seen it before I think if you look in my previous vids, that or the Thunderbolt, which is the one I showed last year when I did this sort of Telford Alternative Scale Model World alternative show, and that was the Thunderbolt, the P47 from Tamiya, and again that's another cracking kit, one of the best, goes together like a dream, beautiful. It doesn't matter whether you get the Razorback, which I've got, or the Bubble Top, both really good models. Very recommend them, strongly recommend them. And obviously the 109 G6, a bit more complicated because that's got magnets for removing all the cowls and the covers. A bit more involved, but perhaps not for the beginner so much. Whereas the Thunderbolt, a beginner or a youngster could do a decent Thunderbolt, no problem really. And I could have brought those out and showed those, but you've kind of seen them before, and they are better mold. Better painted, better constructed, more skill from me, but you've seen it before, so just wanted to show something a bit different that you haven't seen. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, tune in again, there'll be more, at least another 2, possibly another 3 vids, all short like this, and hopefully take your mind off what you're missing, and probably won't, will it? It's going to make you realise you're missing a lot. But I think there's quite a lot of exhibitors are not going to Telford either this year. I think it would. I don't think it'll be the event it would normally be. I think this year I was a bit surprised it was on. It's not a criticism at all, but I don't think it's quite ready for it yet. But anyway, perhaps next year. Look forward to that. In the meantime, until the next show, thank you for joining me. Hope you stay safe, stay well, and just remains for me to say thank you very much, and bye for now.